Welcome, this is AOP, and today we are going to talk about all of the things you need to do to get your account started off in the right fashion. This is the ultimate beginner's guide to Twitter, a blueprint for your first 90 days on this platform. This goes in conjunction with the PDF, the ultimate beginner's guide to Twitter. This is a video module designed to give you all of the best tips, strategies, and tricks that you need to know to get your account started off in the right fashion. Let's get right into it. So why am I handing you a blueprint? Well, first of all, even before we start, I want to say this is a blueprint designed for an account that is going to start from 0 followers. You may be at a different stage of the game. Just understand this is a sketch for someone who is beginning from day 0. It's a sketch that can be followed. It is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Take and choose what you want to implement. These are merely suggestions. My goal for this 90-day blueprint is to make you become more aware of targets, goals, markers, so that you can understand what you're going to be facing as you begin an account from 0 followers. You need to understand how the game is played. It's difficult to start from 0 followers. It is so much different than somebody who has 50,000, 60,000 followers and already has a built-in audience, content, and context. This is going to help you get going in the right fashion. So I want to get right into it. There's a lot of misconceptions for how Twitter is played. I'm going to shed some light on what you need to do. I'm going to make an analogy. The opening stages of Twitter are a lot like the opening moves of a chess match. When you're doing a chess match, the opening part of it is to set up the mid and late game stages. That is the same way Twitter works. You want to get started off the right way, develop a foundation for your account so the mid to late stages are going to go well for you. So let's talk about building that foundation. I want to talk about day 0. Yeah, this says the first 90 days on Twitter, but we're actually going to be starting day 0 even before the 90 days because it starts then. So even before you begin, you need to install what I call the creator mindset. Make a mindset shift to become a creator. Society kind of gets us to think like a consumer. It likes us to think like a consumer. You're always thinking, me, me, me. You watch the TV, what can I get from this? But to be a content creator and be taken seriously on this platform, and even when you're running a business, you need to earn business. You need to earn followers. You need to earn money. And it's a lot of a different mindset. In a nutshell, you can just think of it like, I am going to give more than I can get. Instead of thinking what you can get, think about what you can give to your audience, and then you are going to develop true fans and followers. From a very tangible perspective, I want to make you aware of 3 free tools that you can put into your toolkit and get a lot out of. I want to mention Tweet Hunter. You get a free month of this with the course Create 24/7. Download it. Check it out. Grammarly is free. You can install it on all of your devices, phone, desktop, and even laptop. Telegram, which is fantastic as you start to build and grow and make connections. That is the best platform to communicate with other people with. So even before you begin, you want to start making changes in your lifestyle. Yes, you need to hear this, but you need to free up time throughout the day. Perhaps you need to wake up a little bit earlier to write content. Maybe the house is quiet in the morning. Whatever you need to do, you need to start freeing up time. Maybe in the afternoon, you're going to respond or communicate or network with other people through DMs or on Telegram. It doesn't matter. What you need to do is start freeing up time now so that you're going to be successful later. Organize yourselves. All you need to do is find something to write with. It can be fancy like myself. I use Apple Notes on all of my devices because it's easy to get a hold of one of these devices very quickly. And that's the key. Whenever you have an idea, you need to find something down to write with. Even if it is a simple notebook, just keep it around with you and get in the habit of writing your ideas down. As you start to build and actually put together a brand, I suggest using an alt Twitter account for your mockups. You can set it to private and you can see it yourself. Test out banners, test out profile pictures, write out bios. Take a look at it and look at it through your desktop or your phone because they will look different on every single type of device that is out there. Then take some time to study the Course Create 24/7. Go through it slowly. Go through all of the parts. Think about what you're going to take away from it, and think about what you are going to bring to the table from a unique perspective. From there, start studying brands that work. Make a list of accounts. I suggest making a list of large accounts that you want to grow into. Take a look at the way they've positioned themselves on the platform. Look at the tweets that they use. Look at the language that they use. As you begin to study more and more tweets, bookmark the posts that you love and actually reflect on them. Take a look at these posts that you love and go like, what made these tweets work? Try to develop an awareness, a better understanding. Then last, you are going to define your audience even before you begin. We call this creating a avatar, and I want to briefly talk about this. By the way, this whole process should take you at least 2 weeks. All right, so define the avatar perspective. Before you begin, you need to know who you are going to tweet to and who you're going to position your brand towards. So first of all, you need to actually write down who is your target, write their name down and get specific as possible. List down their age, where they work, what they do for a living. No, and the more specific, this is very key, the more specific you are, the better. You're gonna even you could put a picture of this of a fake person and think what makes them tick? What do they do? What are their fears? What are their concerns? What are their values? The goal ultimately when you're defining your audience is to know your audience. And there's a whole page on this in the Course Create 24/7 if you want to learn more. It's not just for positioning offers and positioning products. It's also for writing your tweets. I work with a lot of accounts, and I get a lot of people go, I don't know who I'm tweeting towards, and I still, even when they go, I still can't even think of it when I'm doing an avatar. If you don't know who to tweet to, think about who you were 6 months ago. Tweet towards them. What were your fears? What were your concerns? Think about who you were 5, 10 years ago. What you have learned in that space of time is going to be valuable. All right, so we have conquered day 0. Now it's time to get going. Day 1. First of all, my tip is to start on the first day of the month. If you can. It's not mandatory. You can start on the 28th of a month. It's not a big deal, but I like having the best dates possible. So if it's June 27, maybe go day 0 just a little bit longer just so you can get July 1st. Your goal on day 1 is to not have less than 100 followers. That's your goal, right? So you'll notice a lot. I talk about I'm not real, growth to me is a low priority, but growth from the beginning stages needs to be your highest priority. You need to actually start gaining an audience, because when you have 0 followers, you have to understand how Twitter works. If you have 0 followers and you tweet, no one is going to see the tweet. And this is a big problem from all your from a Twitter perspective. So I make a suggestion to people who are starting is to call to action from everywhere possible. If you have an Instagram account, start call to action towards your Twitter account. Emails. Do you have email list? Let everybody on your email list know. LinkedIn, use that platform. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your alts, tell your pets. Okay, it doesn't matter. But yeah, when I'm saying your alts, actually, what I mean is maybe you have an account already that has 700 followers and you're restarting. Well, maybe say, hey, I'm starting a brand new account. Some people try to do a you can follow me here and give a call to action to that new one. But the point is you need to advertise it because you need to play the game of outreach. Okay. And the best place you can start outreach is with people who already know you or have already a relationship with you. And many times that will get people over that 100 followers instantly. That is fantastic if you can do it for there. Okay. All right. The other way is to after you CTA is to actually DM people through a cold approach perspective. Your goal is when you're cold approaching other accounts, and these are the small accounts that you want to be like. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a minute, but you're in a nutshell, you're going to DM accounts, cold approach them as a way to get in some engagement groups to give yourself a lift from the beginning. And then you're going to actually DM and network with other people from there. I don't care what other people say. If you're starting from an account from so low, from 10 or 15 followers, There is absolutely nothing wrong with getting in a group. You don't have, by the way, I'm not actually a fan of calling it engagement groups. And you know that if you've gone through the whole course, right? I call them networking groups. The whole point of it is to actually meet people, right? So that's really the ultimate goal. I just call them engagement groups here because that's what people call them, okay? I hate that name, by the way. And the other way to do this is through siphoning. So those accounts that you want to be like and the accounts that have the audience that you want, the larger the account, the better. Make valuable comments underneath the large mentor accounts with audiences that you want. The goal is to make them very quickly, add value to the conversation, and then people are going to see what you have put together through your brand, and they're going to be like, whoa, that is an account that I want to follow. Now, I must mention, you need to have a good brand put in place already, even before you do that, because the better your brand is and when people understand what you're doing, the more likely they're going to click follow when they come to your profile. See the personal branding module in Create for a lot more about branding. And then the last thing, I'm going to mention this. I don't recommend this. Okay. I put this red flag here, caution. All right. I know that this exists. And if I'm only going to tell you this because you're going through this course and you're here, there is a Tweepy follow for follow method that is out there. I don't recommend it. You can go to the site tweepy.com and it will look at your account and it will tell you other accounts that will follow for follow you. If you're like, I am so stuck and I just have to get over 100, I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you that it exists. All right. So those are all of, you need to make that 100 follower mark, get over it as quickly as possible. Call to action from everywhere, DM people, get in groups, start networking, and make comments under big accounts. These are the approved AOP methods. Now, I need to clear this up. The biggest mistake accounts make when they're starting out is, I hate saying this because I consider Create a content creation course, but I have to tell you the truth. The biggest mistake accounts starting from zero make is thinking that only content wins. They're thinking like, hey, I can tweet out this banger tweet. They put it out to their timeline and they have 15 followers. Well, that's not how Twitter works. If you have 15 followers and you tweet something out, only 2 or 3 people are going to see it. And so then you're lucky to get a like. For somebody else to see it, they actually have to interact with your post. Okay? So what you need to do is to get people to interact with these posts. And the easiest way to do that is to bring awareness to your account. It's an awareness. It's an outreach problem. So if you're having a hard time growing. So I just want to lay that out there. It's not, content is important. Content is the biggest part of your brand. Content becomes more and more important as the bigger your brand and the bigger your following becomes. Okay. So I want to make that clear. If you think you're just going to post stuff onto a timeline with 0 followers, it's just not going to happen for you. Awareness is going, and outreach is the way that you need to do it. So I want to talk about from DM strategy perspective, because this is really important early on. All right. So if you're an account with under 100 followers, I would only message accounts under 1,000 followers that are in your niche. Right. So the first account that I would target is accounts that are under 1,000 that are in your niche. All right. So perhaps there's an account with 300-400 followers out there and you really like what you do. Well, start a conversation with them. That's what makes Twitter so cool. Click on the little envelope on their brand, click on them, and always open with a compliment, right? If you don't know what to say, open with a compliment. Just go to their profile, look at what they do. Maybe they have a really cool banner. You can be like, hey, that is a really cool banner you have. Who designed it for you? Did you design it? You got any tips for me? Or maybe you can talk about a tweet that they wrote and you can just be like, hey, that tweet is fire, man. Just absolutely really cool. The point is, you don't just DM somebody saying hi or hello. Go to their profile, take a look at what they do. Genuinely, if there is nothing you can give them a compliment on, or there's nothing that you enjoy from their account, it's probably a sign that you shouldn't even be talking to them. So find accounts under 1,000 that you enjoy, that are in your niche, that you want to get to know more. All right. And then as you actually start to interact with more accounts, and as you grow, and as you're actually getting a following, and you start to get organic likes, comments. This is the key. Organic comment, like, comment, or RT. This is not from something that comes from an engagement group. This is like actual people. That is like the proto part of you actually getting fans, right? Perhaps you'll start to notice, wow, there's a person that likes every single one of my posts all the time, or they comment, or they say something really cool. That is a bridge for you to get a conversation going with them. Perhaps they make a comment, and that comment is a starting point for a conversation. You can just like drop the comment and they're like, hey, that is a great comment. Like, let's continue this conversation. Like, do you think, like, I've had people ask me about paintings when I was growing. I would start having conversations with them. You get to know people more. Or there's a person that retweets you, say like, hey, that's cool. Did you enjoy the tweet? The goal is to have meaningful conversations with them. They're going to be more likely to interact with your posts in the future. Okay. And the other thing you can do is you can see who accounts that you can actually get, see other accounts that they interact with as well. You can actually DM them as well. That can be also part of stage one. All right. The third one to do is that accounts that are in networks. So part of the DM strategy is that you are going to be maybe invited to a group. Hey, we've got a group of other personal finance accounts, okay, or other fitness accounts, and you're talking on Telegram or on, Twitter DMs. You're going to start networking with other people. Don't just talk to them in the network. Actually, like, DM them specifically and be like, hey, that's cool. We're in this network together. You got any advice for me? Do you have any tips or strategies or tricks? Get them talking, get a conversation going. The goal, I hate the term networking, by the way. The goal is to actually turn people into friends. I consider all of the people that I'm in networks with my personal friends. We talk all the time, and the conversation does not just revolve around Twitter. We could talk about anything, all right? But the ultimate goal is to turn people into friends, and you're going to wind up growing a lot quicker the more friends you have on this platform. So that was your first month, and not at the beginning of your second month, sometime around your second month, somewhere like around 8 to 10 weeks ish, your goal should be to get to around 1,000 followers. All right. By the way, there is no one size fits all. I'm going to say that again. All right. So if it's taking you, I think it took me 3 months to get there. I didn't even hit this goal. All right. But if you're doing things very well, I know if I restarted and I did things very well, organically reaching out, I would probably get there probably around 8 to 10 weeks. All right. So I'm going to give you tips now to get yourself to that 1,000. Maybe you're at 700, 800. Here's how you get to 1,000. You got to step up your game a little bit more. One of my first suggestions for you is to I think of my Twitter timeline like it's an art gallery. That's not a joke. I actually really do. I remove poor performers from my Twitter account. So what do I mean by that? If all of your tweets have like 0 likes and somebody goes to your profile page, they're going to think that you're not important. Unfortunately, that's just the way things are. If you walked into a restaurant on a Saturday night and no one was at the restaurant, what would you think? You would think that this is not a good place. It's not priming people to think like this is a place to be. You want your account to be a place to be. Remove poor performers down. And actually in the PDF, we have a definition for target engagement, by the way. So you take a look at the PDF. It's, I believe, one of the last pages. It will tell you what you should be getting. Curate, if you're in a group where you're trading retweets with each other to help each other get exposure, take other people's retweets down. Ultimately, your timeline should be about you. I cannot stress this enough. This is from an everything perspective. It should be about you and what you can do for people. It's not a billboard for other people's communities. It's not a billboard for other people's accounts. Your account is what you can do for people, right? It's your digital real estate. At your home, you don't broadcast somebody else's community you don't have billboards for it's your home. All right. So ultimately take down other people's stuff, take down poor performers. You want people to go through your timeline and stick around. I treat it like it's a book, treat it like it's an art gallery. Content perspective wise, you want around 3 posts per day. Again, this is a sketch with like 70% engage. This is what I do. 70% engagement, 20% authority, 10% authentic. And what I mean by authentic is, I mean like they're all authentic from a perspective. What I mean, like a peek into like my personal life. Like maybe I'll take a picture of cookies that I'm baking. I'm serious. I'm not kidding. Or like something that I'm doing in life. Those are different. Those are the different ways that I tweet, from an engagement to an authority. Like these are tweets that usually a pinned tweet of mine, and then like I try to like share things that are going in my life. And from another way that I do as well, I'll just add this to it, is 70% is rewritten winners. Now you may not have that advantage, right? And 30% are completely like going in a new direction. So you have to kind of get like a vibe for how much you're going to experiment and how much you're going to stick with winners. The goal, though, is to ultimately recognize what your best performers are. Now, this is Tweet Hunter's analytic page, which is by far the best. Okay, I go here to understand what's working for me. Why I love it is because it is the best platform to understand what, in a neat way, it's going to show you all of the best things that you have. So I can take a look at this and I can go, okay, this is what my audience is interested in. And then it becomes a lot easier to write future content because of this. So what I'll do is I'll look for like power words, power ideas, similarities between it. As you can already tell, right? Just by looking, you can't even see the whole thing. You notice that like numbers, specific numbers, 20 years by age 30, number one, 55K at 30. All of these do extremely well onto my timeline. My audience likes it when I define specific things or defines ages or rules. I know that. So like that gives me a basis for where to write future content from. As you grow, as you understand what your audience is more interested in, create more of those customer avatars. So yeah, you might start with one, right? But as you grow and build, and you connect with people and you start understanding what people enjoy with your content, then you can actually create more avatars. The kind of growth that you need at this second month stage is around 15 to 30 followers per day. If you're getting that, you're doing a very good job. So content strategies. Again, I said this earlier, your timeline is all about you, okay? So you want to post about 3 or 4 times a day onto the timeline at least 30-minute intervals. That's a minimum. You don't post like at 9:05, and then 9:10 3 times a day, because what will happen is the algorithm. What will happen is they'll kind of like start conflicting with each other, and you want to space them out at least at a 30-minute interval. The wider, the better. I would suggest maybe posting at your audience primetime hours. I'm tweeting towards the East Coast of the United States. So maybe like 9:30 in the morning, maybe some kind of lighter thing, a question in the afternoon, and at night, like a lighter thought, the hardest one in the beginning. So I'll know my audience. I'll think about all of these things while I'm tweeting. I'm thinking about what time of the day it is and what kind of content they would be interested at that time. Yeah, all of those things I'm thinking about, right? Creator mindset. So at least 30-minute intervals, the larger the better. I focus on quality over quantity. And this is just my perspective. Posting like 15 times a day, I'm not a huge fan. I think you should be writing down at least 10 tweets a day, taking a look at what you've got in the next day, look at them, and take the best 3, edit them up a little bit, put them onto your timeline. Then I suggest using this in the Tweet Hunter. RT 11 times every 2 hours. I go much deeper into this in the Tweet Hunter module for Create 24/7. RT, have that set up if you're using Tweet Hunter to RT the post 11 times every 2 hours. It is such an engagement hack. It's going to help you from an outreach perspective. Even if you have a small audience, it's going to give you a big advantage. Avoid putting comments onto the timeline. And what I mean by this, I never understand where this comes from, but I'll go to some people's timelines and it'll be comments that they make under other accounts, and they'll retweet those comments and put them onto their timeline. It's so bizarre. What you should be doing is, now, if you had a comment that did very well, instead of just leaving it there as a comment, maybe it's a sign that your audience could be interested in it as well. So maybe take it and rewrite it. And, maybe you can turn it a little bit different or give a different perspective on it, but turn it into your own comment onto your timeline. Avoid quote tweets. I think quote tweets are a bad strategy for early stage accounts because it doesn't put the algo into your favor. And I've noticed a lot with quote tweets that they don't perform as of when I'm recording this. Okay? They don't perform the same way original content does. I don't know why, but they tend to do much weaker, and you need to know that. So when I go to people's accounts and I see quote tweets, like, they're quote tweeting some other really large account, I think it's a bad maneuver because you're training the algo to not go in your favor. They tend to be very low engagement posts. The only time I took a screenshot of my phone I had to scroll through. I don't have a lot of other people's stuff on my timeline. I don't do that, right? And what I do is the only time I will keep somebody's comment on my time, or I'll put somebody else's material on my timeline, if it's somebody who's writing like a glowing review for me or for a course. AOP shared some amazing insights today. Yeah, that's you can go on my timeline. That's cool. Or I got my first 10,000 followers with Create. You're going on my timeline. Those comments will stick on my timeline as a form of social proof, right? And I don't spam all of those on there, but I choose the best ones. I put them onto my timeline. My timeline is about me and what we do. And when somebody's going through it, they're going to be like, oh, that's cool. They are there for social proof. All right. So don't leave other people's stuff on your timeline. It's all about your content. All right, cool. So let's go towards that third month. And towards the third month, as you're growing, you are there to publish, deeper content and gain true fans at this stage. You're going to warm the people that are there. So you can do this in a lot of different ways. You want to kind of start to generate a buzz around your account. This is where Twitter gets fun, right? This isn't like the opening stages where you're like DMing people and doing all of the hard things. This is when Twitter really starts to get fun, because then you can start doing the cool stuff. You can host spaces, do AMAs on your timeline, start connecting with people. You want to be the buzz. You want to have people talking about you. These are great ways to gain true fans. Publish, lean into threads at this stage. Use your winners. If you don't know what to, like, where do I start? What do I write a thread about? Well, take a look at the content that has done very well for you. That's probably a signal from your audience that they're interested in what you're talking about. Maybe you can elaborate on it. Maybe you had a list post that did very well. Turn it into a thread. Maybe you had a short post that did well, and it's perhaps a way for you to share and open up a little bit about your story. Elaborate on what has already been successful for you. That's where you start to do threads. All right, and from there you can actually start to sell stuff. I think some accounts, they come up. Notice I haven't talked about selling at all. The longer you can wait to sell, the better. Okay, and that is something that is you need to get that through. So I don't really recommend selling until you at least have 1,000 followers. The longer you can wait, the better. And if you've never sold anything before, you don't have to create a product. You can start to sell affiliates. You can reach out to me. If you've purchased a course, Create 24/7, I will send you an affiliate link for that, or masterclass if you're in the community. You can practice selling other people's stuff, because there is a skill for helping people, for getting people to purchase. And if you've never done it before, you can just use somebody else's product. And from there, you're also, from a content perspective, I recommend you paying attention to your analytics continually. It's very key. The 1% rule, I talk about this in the course a lot. The 1% rule is that posts that have at least 1% engagement on it, a ratio, those are the ones that you're going to want to continually develop those ideas and continually craft and improve those tweets. Once you get, the third month stage, your growth should be somewhere around 1,000 followers a month. Now, don't freak out. I only grow 700 followers a month. That's fine. That's great. Maybe you can just tweak a couple of things that we've been talking about. Pay attention to your analytics more. Get consistent, maybe network and outreach with people a little bit more. Maybe you can bump that up to 1,000 per month, and you'll be growing a little bit more efficiently. And if you're over 1,000 per month, congratulations. You are doing a fantastic job, but that's where you should be at those stages. Last, I want to say what I started this off with. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach. If there was something you were like, AOP, I can do it this way, then do it that way. All right. This is a general strategy for accounts that are starting from zero. If you already have offers, perhaps, maybe you already know how to sell and you have email lists, and of course, you can have a plug for your email list on your bio or something like that. Of course you can, right? And maybe you can position yourself on growth and authority a little bit earlier than a typical account that has starting from no social media background. This is just a plan so that you can make a plan. Feel free to adjust everything that I have said accordingly. So if you've gone through this, thank you so much. You should now go through the course, Create 24/7. Take a look at the personal branding modules. It is going to deep dive into all of the tactics and strategies that you can do to put together a great brand that's going to help you grow efficiently. But just remember, focus on the outreach stages early on. And if you want to get started, if you don't want to join some shady network that is out there, I want to make you aware of Masterclass 24/7, which is our community with some of the top social media influencers, accounts with over 100,000 followers, people that have businesses on Twitter, and accounts that are growing and accounts that are starting from zero. And you may be as well. Join us inside of Masterclass247.com. Thank you so much, and good luck on Twitter, and good luck on your journey. Thank you.